I got to the end game, and then it's like immediately like, hey, you, come talk to me, or like, we have to chat. I'm like, all right, click a button, go talk to the person. And it just immediately skips over the part of this expansion where you go underground. Like, completely fucking skips over that entirely. It's the only thing that just goes, poof, here you go. And then from that point, you're just, okay, I guess we're going to the Emerald Dream, and then we get through the Emerald Dream, and it's fun, it's well paced, but then it goes immediately into like, all right, well, everything's done, so now you just need to follow the story quests. Okay, I'm not done with the story quests in the Emerald Dream yet, but it's like, what about the stuff that happened before it? Why is there a prompt that immediately sends me off to the latest stuff when there's stuff that I need to do first in order to like have the story be cohesive and make sense? You know, like, I understand having the latest and greatest content available and just like get you right into it, sure, but if it's going to be superfluous and not matter, the least they could do is make it not matter and just remove the requirements to do it. Or at least have like a brief catch-up of what happened. Because if you're going to make content irrelevant, then there shouldn't be any reason to do it. And if there's no reason to do it, why is it a prerequisite to get something that makes the game easier to play? And if that's the case, if you're locking this stuff that makes the game easier to play behind a wall, like doing irrelevant content, why is it a reward for doing irrelevant content in the first place? If it was a reward for people doing it as current content, then you should probably just have given it out to begin with. Like, that's where I'm just having a bit of confusion with it. For the most part, when it comes to this game, like, everybody knows that it's seasonal based, it's patches and all that. Like, it doesn't matter. Everything that I'm doing right now in terms of getting gear in a couple months isn't going to matter. They're going to have a new season of new something that happens, and it just makes it completely irrelevant. Fine. It's cool. I still prefer Elder Scrolls Online for that. I'll be completely honest. ESO is a bit boring. It could use a little work. It's not the most enjoyable thing. But the best part about it is that the only thing they really do is they add new gear sets into the game. New fights, new gear sets, but every gear set is viable. There is a level cap. The level cap, I believe, is 50 or 60. And then after that, it's champion points, and the champion points go, I don't know, thousands. But the gear cap, the gear maximum, the highest scaling that the gear will do is 160 CP. So like level 50 or level 60, and then 160 champion points. That's where everything is tailored, and it remains indefinitely. That is the highest strength you can be, which makes the game a hell of a lot easier to balance on their end, I'm sure. Because you're not technically getting any stronger, you're just having different gear sets that do things. And that is essentially like, with WoW, you know, you raise the level cap. And I mean, I know the next expansion is going to be like adding in new talent points. That's like, I like what they're doing. They've got the talent points where they want them. And now they don't have to balance those talent points anymore, because it's like, this is where we want them to be. We're just going to add another tree in the middle that is like hero class, like job change stuff, like adding on to it. This is the base. This will remain balanced, but now we've got another set of points that are in its own tree, but it's still part of your class. That, I think, is really cool. And it remains to be seen. It's going to be fun, I'm sure. But the thing is, right now, like, the fact is that they keep raising the level cap and raising the level cap and raising the level cap. and then they stat squish, and then they raise the level cap, and it keeps happening. Like, we went up to level 120 for crying out loud, and then they squished it, and what was it? Level 100, and then they squished, they've how many times have they squished it now? I can't even freaking remember. But the point is, like, they cut it in half. And it completely invalidated everything before it. Like, there's no point in doing any of, like, that was the fun part of the game. Like, when you make an alt, yeah, it took forever to level, but you had heirlooms and stuff. And it also, to be perfectly honest, in a business sense, it kind of incentivized people to want to buy a boost. It kind of incentivized you to want to pay for a token or whatever it is that gives you a free level cap character or like current content character. But it's like now, like with the fact that everything is squished down so far, like you don't really need to. I mean, now they've got shit. They've got that free level 70 that's got like normal raid ready gear. Your reputations are all capped. And I'll be honest, yeah, it's a shameless cash grab. Sure. But it's fucking smart. Like, it's really smart. I will give them credit for that. Like, whoever came up with that definitely got a promotion. Because that is a good business move. You can always count on the fact that people will throw money at a problem to make it go away. And if you're not capitalizing on that, you're an idiot. Because people will always pay money to save them time. That's okay. But again, that's not really the issue here. The issue is like, God, I was just talking with the missus about it the other day. Because like, I had gotten my travel form makes it look like I'm a raven. And she's like, oh, that's a cool mount that you have. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's my travel form. And then I popped out of it and showed her my gear, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm kind of like made a thematic role play of like, after the burning of Teldrassil, like I was asleep, you know, after saving the world in Legion, like I was asleep in one of the barrow dens of Teldrassil when it caught fire, and since I'm a resto druid, I barely survived, and this is what happened. The tree grew around me, and my magics kept me alive. But you know, they've got gloves that make me have bony fingers, and they've got bone toes sticking out. Like I also have like the Dark Ranger face or whatever. So it's like, you know, evil undead druid. You know, haha. And then like I was explaining that, and I was explaining like the whole burning of Teldrassil and stuff, to the best of my ability, because she knows nothing about the game. I'm sure 90% of it glossed over, and she was just like, he's so cute when he talks about things he likes. And it really just kind of snapped into focus for me, like, because I flew over, like I warped to Moonglade, and I flew over to Teldrassil, and I was in the past, like the version of Teldrassil where you can still go there. Like before everything, and I fly down and over, and I'm like, this is the tree that I'm talking about. Like, this tree in the middle of the ocean is where these elves live. And like, I'm explaining it. Go through, I'm explaining it. Everything is, you know, it's cool. But then afterwards, I use the bronze dragon lady, Zadormu, whatever her name is, and I go to the future, like the current day, that shows it completely destroyed, and there's just a withering husk in the distance, and she's like, the missus is like, oh, well, that sucks. Like, that's really, like, what the fuck is that all about? Because, you know, she constantly sees me playing this game. She knows nothing about it, but, you know, every now and then she gets bored, and she's like, okay, hit me with a lore dump. Like what you doing, you know? Checking in. And I'm explaining this to her, and then, like, I pull up that one cinematic for the Battle for Azeroth one, where Sylvanas is, you know, like, I'm evil and bitchy, and I'm going to burn your tree, and you're going to watch. Man, she twists her mustache. And I'm like, it frustrated me so much because as I was sitting there thinking about this, right? As I was sitting there thinking about this, I realized that because of the amount of squishes that they have done and the amount of homogenizing that they've done to all of the expansions of the game, a new player is not going to organically figure any of this shit out. They're not going to find anything. They're not going to understand half of what's going on, because the first thing the game does is try to sell you a fucking boost to the end of the game, so you have no idea what's happening. Like, it used to be, like, up until, what was it, Battle for Azeroth, or, no, not even Battle for Azeroth, Legion. It was like, you make a new character, you go through the Cataclysm zones, or, like, the original Azeroth, you know, which, again, I still think that, like, the new Cataclysm stuff is fun, but I really think that they should have, like, you know, old Azeroth up until level 30, then Cataclysm, and then move on from there, but I digress. You go through Azeroth until 60, Outland until 70, Northrend until 80, Cataclysm endgame zones till 85, and then, what was Mists of Pandaria. Then from Mists of Pandaria to 90. Then Warlords of Draenor until 100. And then Warlords of Draenor, 110 for Legion. And then 120 for Battle for Azeroth. But when they squished everything down, half the time going and seeing fucking Chromie doesn't even work right. There have been times that I have gone and spoken with her, and I try to queue for a dungeon, and it does not give me the option to do the proper dungeon. It's like, oh, do Battle for Azeroth dungeons. Yeah, but I'm selected to be in Classic WoW. I'm selected to be in Cataclysm. Yeah, nope, you're doing BFA. Like, as a new player, you have two options. You know what? Screw it. I'm already on it. So, as a new player, I'm pretty sure here's my Dork Ranger, ha ha ha. I'm already in Stormwind, so I'm just gonna log in to this fucking character and I'm gonna show you something. And it baffles me because it's so annoying that it happens. I was planning on making a YouTube video about it, but hell, I'm already ranting about it right now, and I can probably just fucking post it later. The thing, like right now, as a new player, who are these people? Why do I care? Who are these people, and why do I care? Dead, not dead, almost dead, kind of there, dead. You know? Right, so, here's the thing. As a new player, this is the UI or whatever. Okay, it's all cool. So I'm just gonna go to combat log and keep that. Now, whether you do Exile's Reach, which is the new starter zone, or you make a new character, the first thing they do is they send you to your main capital city or a capital city. And don't think I'm going to be able to get there to really have it, like, make sense. Do I have mounts yet? Okay, I do. Now, I love this game. It's kind of a, my relationship with World of Warcraft is she doesn't love you, but I'm like, she's so pretty. I know she's psycho, but she's beautiful and I love her. That's kind of the relationship I have with this game. And it's not anything beyond, like, I know this game has problems. I know it could be better. I know they could do a better job with it. Granted, the climate at Blizzard hasn't exactly been, you know, like, awesome. So here's hoping that, you know, things get better in the future. But I digress regardless. We're just going to take this as pretend we're a human player, right? You get fresh off the boat. Whatever happens, happens. And then you're like, okay, go to Stormwind. All right, I'm in Stormwind. I literally hit level 10, I think with Exile's Reach, and I got warped to Stormwind or got off the boat or whatever. And I'm pretty sure it landed me right in front of these gates, but even if it didn't, bear with me, here's the point. I get here, hop off the mount. I don't have looms. I got a bird. I'm a hunter. Okay, what am I doing? All right, so what the first thing that I see in the distance is, okay, well, if I look at my map, I could see a couple quests. It's already shown me how to do quests. That one's got a shield icon over it. All right, sweet. Let's go figure this out. This is a pretty cool world that we're in so far. You can go deliver some wine for that guy if you want, but that's fine. So, here's a quest. A war council with the king. For battle for Azeroth. One of two things have happened so far up to about level 8 to 10, give or take. As a Night Elf, you can choose to do the classic intro to the game, or you can do Exile's Reach. Prefer to do Exile's Reach. That's the recommended one because it really does a good job showing you like the stakes and what you're doing. So the most you've done at that point is you do Exile's Reach. You were on a boat. You're a brand new recruit to an army. You didn't join. You didn't physically role-playing game that forces you to join, like, you know, like the army or whatever. Like, okay, what's the motivation for that? But I digress. That's really a moot point. You join up, you get in a boat wreck. Then you have to fight your way, saving your fellow Alliance members or soldiers, whatever it is, teaching you the basics of the game. You get to the end, you punch an ogre in the nuts, and then you rip the tongue out of a dragon. Okay, that you're good. Okay, fly on griffins. Haha! Look at them running for the hills. We won. And then you land in Stormwind, and it's like, all right, thanks for that. Later. No follow up. There's no follow-up. There's no extra information there. It's just like, hey, thanks, buddy. All right, fucking peace. And then they send you on your way. And now all of a sudden, you are a champion. Bro, I am level 10. I am not a champion. I am level 10. I have done nothing of merit other than I saved a dude's life and I was able to shoot a bow without dying first. I've been picking up bear poop. I haven't been doing shit. Nothing that is of real value or merit to be called champion. That's what the homogenization is doing. And the other part of it, which is just fantastic, is you go through the whole Teldrassil tree, you get to about level 10, and then they're like, all right, send you on your way. And you run into the same problem. But in Teldrassil, it's like, you're a recruit as a hunter or as a druid, and it's like, hey, somebody said that you showed promise, so we're going to show you the ropes. Your training begins today. And that is essentially the whole thing. You're going through training, helping out your local community, and then you move on to bigger and better things where eventually you start discovering maybe the stakes are a little bit higher than we thought. And you organically move out into the world farther and farther away from your starter zone until eventually you reach town or, you know, whatever it is. That is the organic feel of like the initial starter zone. Like, hey, thanks for helping me out, like picking all of those bulbs that just went nuts on us. I don't know what happened. I guess our magical ritual decided to go awry. Or maybe there's something darker and deeper under the surface. I don't know. Plot twist. Okay, I got a cousin named Jim, and he's over in this town over here, and he has been expecting the results of this shit, so can you take it to him? Yeah, sure. You go there, and he's like, oh, he spoke highly of you in this letter. Now I've got my problems, and you look like somebody who can handle it. Bro, I just showed up off of a griffin after, like, literally, I got in a fucking shipwreck, got captured by ogres, beat the ogres, saved some slaves, ripped the face off of an undead zombie dragon, and then showed back up and they're like, hey, you know what? You, a green recruit that just happened, you should come and attend a war council with the king. Surely there is nobody else who is more qualified in this position other than you, a level 10. What's the motivation other than, like, I guess do stuff? Like, and there's no point to it. Now, you can ignore this guy completely, but a new player is more than likely not going to. It's funneling you over to this area. The king needs you. Please take a flyer. The Burning Legion has returned to Azeroth. Who the fuck is the Burning Legion? And why do I care? The Iron Horde are invading Azeroth. We must stop them to save our world. For Azeroth. That is 3 Azeroths in a row. I don't think at any point in time so far in the beginning of the game they've even established, like, what the world's name is, probably? I don't know. I'm really just grasping at straws here. But again, who the fuck are the Iron Horde, and why do I care? And finally, Northern Stranglethorn. The last group of Stormwind soldiers sent into the jungle descended into madness. Uncover what happened to Captain Curzon, and perhaps we can guarantee the safety of the Alliance troops in the region. Now, by a show of hands perchance, you just finished saving a dragon. Or saving a dragon. Killing a dragon, saving your fellow people. You didn't do anything yourself. You are not a hero. You were guided and handheld all the way by a captain or a high-ranking member of the Alliance military. They made all the choices. You just shot the gun, right? You were just a good soldier. You were a good soldier. You did your job. You show up, and the first 4 choices that you have, the first initial choice is, hey, come attend a war council meeting with the fucking king. The Burning Legion, I'm assuming, as a new player, who knows nothing about this game, mind you, I'm assuming that's probably pretty bad, right? Probably pretty bad. They returned. I didn't know they were here to begin with. Tanan Jungle. The Iron Horde. Well, I know that Horde was the red version of, like, they must be the bad guys. So the Iron Horde, they must be harder bad guys, capable of rusting bad guys, a bit heavier than steel bad guys. Okay. But we have to stop them. Why? Why do I care? And then Northern Stranglethorn. Out of all 4 of these here that I have seen so far as a new player, I'm thinking Burning Legion has returned. Probably not so good. Iron Horde, I mean, it's probably bad that they're invading, but I don't know why. Why are you sending me? Like, that is like sending a child to a peace summit, you know? Like, I'm sure they could probably help, but my God, surely must be somebody more qualified. But then Northern Stranglethorn is like, to me, as a new player, it's like, you know, that is a little more in line with what I've already endured. Somebody went mad. Somebody is lost. Go and see what's going on in the jungle. Well, I was just on a tropical island, and me and the rest of the folks were able to survive, so maybe that experience should be able to help me out in this situation, right? So, assuming that none of those sound like a good idea, which as a new player, you're not going to be like, surely there's something on the other side of town over here that it doesn't show anything about. And not to mention, you open up your quest log with no quests in it, and the first thing battle for Azeroth. Oh, okay. Nobody is going to read that and take that seriously. Nobody. I do not care who you are. A new player is not going to be like, oh, yes, Teldrassil, Night Elves. I know all about that. I am a Night Elf. Now, had I have gone through Teldrassil, it's like, what do you mean they burned it down? I was just fucking there like 10 seconds ago. Literally, I can turn right back around on the boat and show you. I was just there. But there's no reason to do any of that. Now, I'm fairly sure that this other Heroes Call board will show me the available quests for Kalimdor. Because for some reason it's like, hey, you can head right out and head over to Stranglethorn. Alright, because I'm level 10. I'm pretty sure that used to be like a level 30 to level 40 zone, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not exactly an expert on this game, but I am an expert in what the fuck. So, okay. And it's the same thing over here. If they happen to have just warped you in front of the embassy, right? As a new player, they'd have warped you in front of the embassy, and the first things you would have seen, to my knowledge, okay, what's going on here? You walk in, they got the allied races, blah, blah, blah. We're not going through that. Nobody cares. So you would see this hourglass here with a gnome sitting on top of it. That looks very out of place, but it doesn't look like anything you should click because there is no icon above it. There's nothing happening there. So a new player is not really going to notice that, or like, it shows something like, I don't know, maybe it's a timed event or something. That's a special icon that doesn't look like anything I've clicked so far, so I'm going to stay away from it because I'm trying to not get overburdened. Run through here, here we go. Again, same thing. I expected them to at least have some Kalimdor options on here. I think they used to, but they don't. I've got go right into Burning Legion, go right into Warlords of Draenor, and then Stranglethorn. Now, I understand them being like, oh, you can play anything at any time at any level. Like, oh, cool, that's so fun. But at the same time, it completely fucking bastardizes the story. Entirely bastardizes the story. You don't even know, I don't know why I'm here. I know, all I know is I must kill. That's it. Like, it completely makes everything irrelevant. Like, we have got, I'm going to start counting here on my hand. You can't see it, but I can. We've got the original World of Warcraft. We've got Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion, Battle for Azeroth, Shadowlands, and now we've got Dragonflight. That is a lot of fucking game that is no longer relevant. Because the moment you start the game, you've got 10 levels. Any starter zone is going to give you about 10 levels before you can just choose where it is that you want to go. And then from there, I'm pretty sure that whatever expansion you pick has got roughly 20 levels worth of content in it. Maybe up to, I don't fucking know. It's been a long time since I've leveled up a character from scratch. Like that druid, he has been sitting at level 50 or 60 for a long time. So, like, I haven't really done this in a while, so I'm not entirely sure, especially as a new player who doesn't have heirlooms, like, with a slower experience rate. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the whole point is, but, like, as a new player, initially it was you would progress through the story, and then, like, the original, like, the old world Azeroth, well, it was what it was, right? And then you get done with that, you know, there's not really a full background cohesive story happening. But then you get to Burning Crusade, and it's like, as you're doing the quest, you learn that, like, the whole reason for you being in a Burning Crusade is we gotta fucking figure out what Illidan's up to. We gotta go whoop his ass. So there's a point to that. And then you get Wrath of the Lich King. The whole point of Wrath of the Lich King is Arthas is the Lich King, and he's doing shit, and we need to figure out what it is, help the people, stop it, and whoop his ass. And he makes it a point to show himself every fucking zone if he has a chance. Good storytelling. And then we get to Cataclysm. Dragon blew everything up. Dragon is showing himself every fucking chance he gets. And you're having to help the world, like, deal with the ramifications of a dragon blowing the fucking world up. Thankfully it survived, but, like, you know, it's your job to save everyone. You're trying to, at the very least. They updated the quests in the old world so that way they all had cohesive stories, like little sandbox stories that are, like, fun in each zone. But there's the overarching thing is, like, there's something bigger going on out there. And then, after Cataclysm, we had the Mists of Pandaria. It's like, hey, a new land showed up, and we need to go there, because the Horde and the Alliance are like, brr, we don't like each other. We gotta claim it first, so that way they don't have a foothold, because if the Horde claims this, then they're gonna have a nice foothold that's right off of our shores, and we can't have that, gotta blow stuff up, there's a giant Shah. Garrosh bad, right? So it's like, and I'm spare the rest of the fucking details on the rest of this, because it's again, it's a moot point. The point is, as you went through the expansions, there was a linear progression through the expansions. It was your choice whether or not it was your choice whether or not you actually wanted to fully complete each expansion up to a certain point. If you just went nuts through the expansions and you did every single quest and you out-leveled it, you could still get relevant experience because it was all locked to a certain level. Right now, I'm pretty sure Old World Azeroth is locked to about level 30. I got a priest, she's level 60, let's go see. Now, at the very least in the older versions of the game, yeah, you know, like they squished all the levels down, and now everything is kind of funky. Oh right, I was buying heirlooms. Let's see. There it is. I'm just gonna get right outside of Ironforge. As close as I can get anyhow. Now with me being level 60, I should already, like, be well over what the level limit is for this. Yeah, level 30. This is a fucking boar. An unassuming, I'm sure very important in his own community, but an unassuming boar. Level 30. Wolf. Level 30. Wolf. Level 30. So there is so much of this game that has just fallen to the wayside that does not matter anymore. Like with all of like the chromie time, and you can go and experience any expansion. Once you reach a certain fucking level, they just kick you out of wherever you are. Like when I was playing my this druid, as I was leveling him up, I was already on Valdrakken. Not Valdrakken, the Dragon Isles. I was already here. I was already in the initial area. And I think I was the Waking Shores. Excuse me. That's where I was. And then I hit a certain level, and it's like a thing from Chromie pops up, and the only reason why I know is because I saw the top of her little head when I had my map open. I saw the chat box because I moved it up here whenever somebody's talking, or up over here. I could see that this was happening because I was on my map looking through my quests, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go there next, and blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing I know, I get fucking teleported out of the Dragon Isles to Stormwind in front of the spot where Shadowlands is occurring. Because I haven't done Shadowlands on this character. So, here's the fucking problem. I was leveling up, go to Dragonflight, I'm doing the quests, I have not been to Valdrakken yet, I have not set my Hearthstone to this place yet. I was doing the intro quests by the time I leveled up to whatever level they assume is when you're gonna go. And there are two ways into the Dragon Isles, currently. Get a mage to teleport you, or wait 5 minutes every fucking trip for a boat. I already waited 5 minutes to begin with, and I was questing. I was in my groove. I'm listening to music, having a great time, and then they just fucking poof, you're back in Stormwind. Have a nice ride back, bitch. They don't care. Have fun. Here you go. It's time for you to go to the Dragon Isles and figure out what's going on with that. Yeah, but I was already there, though. So that's beside the point. But, like, I'm imagining, like, as a new player, okay? As a newer player, you know, you can't even say, like, oh, by the time you hit level cap or a certain level, like, you should know how the game works or whatever. Yeah, you'd be so fucking surprised, though. Because, like, think about it like this. You are playing Alliance for the very first time because when you originally played WoW back in Classic, you were Horde. So you decide, I'm going to do something fresh. None of my friends play anymore. Nobody's playing. I'm on a brand new server. And I'm going to try Alliance for the first time because apparently I'm a masochist. So I'm going to play Alliance. And time to get through this game. The moment you show up, it's like, hey, Battle for Azeroth. Go see the king. And you're like, okay, why not? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to follow this quest. So they send you off to Battle for Azeroth, and then you level through that to whatever level is the level cap. And then it's like, hey, you can go to the Dragon Isles now or whatever. Like between dungeons, whatever else, blah. Okay? You've never gone back to Stormwind for anything at this point. Well, maybe you had to because in order to get to Valdrakken or Dragon Isles, you had to get on the Stormwind docks. But let's just say you're not really familiar with it, okay? You warp, you go to the Dragon Isles, you're doing that. Same situation happens to a player. Or even a player that got a free boosted character, right? And you have no idea what's going on. It's like you're boosted, you get a free character when you buy the game. It's like, here you go, you're right in. You're right into the latest expansion. You warp in, you do your thing, and then that same thing occurs to you. Sends you back. How do you get there? I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. I'm probably just thinking about that too much, but the point is that I'm very disappointed in the fact that there is so much story that is in this game and so much lore that's necessary. Like, I'm going to be perfectly square with you. I have no fucking clue who this Frost bitch is that I'm doing this quest for right now. I have no idea who this is or why I should care at all. I know Rathian. I know him. He's awesome. My rogue helped save his egg. And I beat the shit out of Deathwing 1,000 times to be able to turn some daggers that he made into some really cool daggers. Rathian's a good boy. And in Mists of Pandaria, he gave us that awful fucking quest for a cloak. I watched him eat the heart of the Thunder King. Nobody who's new to the game has any fucking clue what I'm talking about. This motherfucker stabbed an old god in the eyeball, which is really saying something because his whole thing is eyeballs, with a dagger that has an eyeball that's also sentient because it's apparently a fucking creature that was trapped in a dagger by an old god for the void? I don't fucking know. He's cool. He's done shit. This guy. I don't really fucking remember. One of the dailies for the Netherwing and Outland that's completely missable because there's no reason to go to fucking Outland anymore. That plate's sitting weird in that thing's hand. Anyway, the point is, I have no idea who the fuck this bitch is. And, like, after all of this, after all of these different instances of shit that's going on, there's so much story that's just thrown in the fucking background, and it's like, yeah, let's say, for instance, you reach level cap, and then you're like, okay, like, what else is there to do? And then you just, like, max level fly through the zones. Does anybody do that? Does any new player actually do that? Where, like, let's assume that a new player isn't fucking scared away by an angry mob because you don't have Raider IO. Okay? Let's assume. Not even fucking add-ons. We're not even talking about that yet. But anyways, let's assume that a new player, just for the shits and giggles, makes it to the end game of leveling up. They get in a raiding guild. They manage to do the raid, or they pug it, or they do LFR, however you do it. They beat the latest quest. They beat the latest raid, and it's like, awesome. I feel like I have beat the game now. At least for the current patch. Do you really believe that they would, in their spare time, run around old zones to try and figure out what the fuck happened? I doubt it. The game does such a horrible job explaining what it is, what it's doing. Why are you here? Yeah, WoW has some really snappy combat and really responsive buttons, and it's good. It's a good game. It's just being developed by fucking idiots. Art team is on point. I will never talk shit about the art team. Never. Art team, they fucking put their heart and soul into every bit of it, and you can tell. You can tell they really put effort in. But whoever was making the decisions about the story and to completely fucking just rip it apart. Oh, you can experience it whenever you want. They're not connected. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, they fucking were. The only story in WoW that was never really connected to anything was the initial 1 to 60. Because the point of the fucking game was that there was a lot of people in the world who had problems, and you just happened to be somebody who showed up to help. That was the whole fucking deal. Like, that's the point of the initial, like, the original WoW. I didn't even fucking play vanilla. I've played classic. Farthest I've gotten classic is on hardcore, and I think I'm like level 40 or level 41. But, like, that's basically the knowledge that I have on it, is that there is no story. You make the story. But then you get to these other expansions, and it's like, there is a fucking story, though. There is something happening. But, like, I could be halfway through Battle for Azeroth, and it's like, I'm kicking the shit out of fucking trolls. And then all of a sudden, it's like, Chromie's like, hey, I hope you've had fun in the past, but all of this shit has already happened, and we need you in the future now because you're strong enough. Right, so invalidate everything that I've done as a player, and it's not the first time it's happened. Forcibly warp me out of the zone I'm in. And send me to the fucking throne room, or wherever the hell it is, to do whatever shit is going on in the current expansion. And then all of the experience in the past is now completely fucking garbage. There's no way to level up. It is dog shit experience that gives you like 100 instead of the 2,000 or 3,000 you were getting. Completely invalidate it. If you don't care about the story, Blizzard, if it doesn't matter, why the fuck are you putting such precedence on the story that is in the current expansion? If all of the previous expansion story really don't fucking matter so much, why are you putting so much effort into, like, cinematics and having, like, these extra cinematics on YouTube and writing books and putting all of this extra shit on there? If you're putting this much effort into the current expansion stories, why the fuck are you invalidating the last expansions? Why are you completely disregarding how the fuck we got here in the first place? I understand it's a long fucking road for a player, But if you think about it, that's a lot of subscriptions. That's a lot of time being subbed to the game. If somebody doesn't want to level through that shit, they'll buy a fucking character. If they don't care about the story, they will either buy a character, get boosted from a friend, or they will just fucking power level through the game. What is the point? Like, including, what is this, 9 expansions now? 10 if you count the initial game too? Let's see. Yeah, like 9 or 10 expansions worth of content that's already been done. Yeah. Broken systems. Yeah. Mechanics. Raids. Dungeons. The only thing you got is fucking Death Knights farming Botanica. Like, what's the point? What legitimately is the fucking point of it then? Like, oh, we need to get you in and do the latest content. Get you in. Fuck the story. We want you to get in and buy a boost and be raid ready with your friends. Okay. You know there is a vast majority of people that play this game that don't, right? There is a large portion of players that don't get that option. There's a big pug community, but at no point in time in the game does it ever teach you how the fuck the group finder works. I could be wrong. I would love to be proven wrong on that. But you can't see it because my little widget's over here, but I've got this group finder eye that just shows up. Okay. Dungeon finder, raid finder, pre-made groups, legacy groups. Find a group. What do we got? Legolas. Sweet. We're doing Antorus. We're doing a Mount Run. Molten Core. What the fuck are we doing Molten Core for? Who cares? Right? Here's the point. The point is there is no fucking point. The initial part of the game, literally the 2 best parts of the game, is the beginning and the end. That is essentially buying a sandwich. An expensive fucking sandwich, mind you. Because it's about $60 to $75 for the game, if I'm not mistaken. And you need a month's subscription, possibly. That is you buying your sandwich from Blizzard. And as you pick it up to take a bite, Bobby Kotick runs over and just slaps the fucking meat out of your sandwich and says, enjoy your fucking soggy bread. And he runs away as he flies off in his fucking golden yacht. Yeah, he's not there anymore, but I don't have another goblin to represent the problem, okay? You are left with soggy bread. Yeah, it's good bread, but there's no fucking substance to it. Yeah, it'll satisfy for the moment, but it's not going to keep you full. And like, having to retroactively go back and do these other things when it's not relevant anymore. Yeah, doing old raids and stuff is fun when you're a high level or when you're level cap and there's no stakes to it, but it's like, that is something that annoys me so much about this game because it could honestly fucking learn from Final Fantasy in that regard. I know, shocker. Fucking put down your torch and pitchforks, hear me out. Imagine, if you will, before you could move on to another expansion, you had to join an LFR grade. I'm talking about difficulty. Put down your torch and pitchforks. LFR grade difficulty of Molten Core. But instead of 40 people, it's 10. 10. It's not necessary anymore, right? It's not plot relevant. The gear doesn't matter, right? What about Ankiraj? Nefarian? Like these raid bosses, these raids that have real plot relevance to the world, they matter. That is a big fucking problem. Yeah, technically it's already happened, but technically when you start as a new player, you're already in the past because you're leveling up through all of this stuff. And then once you beat that, the story quest is done, and then it gives you the breadcrumb. Okay, well, now that that's done, as it turns out, hey, you know how all this bad stuff was happening? You are the guy that whooped the Fire Lord's ass. You are the one that chopped the head off of that fucking dragon that was experimenting on our people and destroying the fucking mountain that's right outside of our capital city. Hey, you're the one that went in with a team of exterminators and you squished all the fucking bugs in that hole in the ground. As it turned out, there was also this fucking fleshlight eyeball that wanted to kill everybody. Yeah, you were the one that fucked that guy up. So hey, we need you to come here because you are a powerful dude, or a powerful her, or a them, whatever. You're a powerful them, and we need you to go and figure out what the fuck is up with this big magical door that showed up out of nowhere. Okay, you know, how it fucking should be. And actually have the story progress where it's like, you matter. Like, I did that. As a level 10, do you really like champion? You are not a fucking champion. You are literally a hobbyist. You're a dude with a dirt-covered stick and a bag full of bear asses that still haven't been turned in. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, you, Weekend at Bernie's, fucking get over here and talk to the king. The king don't give a fuck about you. King don't know who the fuck you are. You smell like shit. You're wearing rags. You're a hobo with a gun. They're like, hey, come fucking figure out this decades-long conflict with the Horde. We need a navy. You know who we should get to help us out? A guy that just fell out of a fucking boat. I can't think of anybody less qualified to go and negotiate for a navy than a recruit on a boat that was shipwrecked. Like, the only relevance to you being useful in that fucking situation is the fact that at some point in time, you were on a boat. Like, it's not necessary. It's really fucking not. But at the same time, that is why it should be fucking necessary. That's why it should matter. Because even in Final Fantasy, you can buy a boost and skip it. You can skip all of that fucking story if you want to. It's not necessary. But, like, the amount of effort that has gone in to cultivate this story up until this point for so many years, all the work that has gone into it, all the love and care from people who maybe don't even work at the fucking company anymore, and I'm not talking about the bastards, I'm talking about, like, the good people. Maybe they've retired, or, you know, heaven forbid, maybe they, you know, logged out, quote unquote. So all of this story that's like really cool, badass moments, you don't get to see. What about in, what is it, Stone Talon Mountains in Cataclysm? When you go in and you, like, get enlisted in this one orc's little army, and then you end up committing a fucking war crime on his behalf? And then Garrosh shows up and he's like, whoa, I'm fucking hard, but I'm not that hard. You are a dickhead, and he throws him off a fucking ledge. Like, just like, no, consider this your retirement. You are relieved of service, and drops him off a fucking ledge. And he looks at you and he's like, yeah, by the way, I know you had a part to play in this, but you were just following orders, so I'm going to give you one fucking chance. Don't ever let me see you fucking slacking again. You do not have any rank anymore. You are demoted. You are free to go. Don't make me change my mind. Get the fuck out of my sight. How awesome is that? What about the fucking, what is it, Badlands or Blast? No, Badlands, right? The fucking story time. Where you're like, I punched Deathwing in the face. Okay, that's fucking hilarious. That is awesome. The CSI Miami ripoff in fucking Westfall. You know, like these amazing fucking hilarious, stupid fucking stories. But they're fun. It's fun. And it's like now, you're just like, everybody's calling you champion when you've done nothing. You haven't earned that right. I don't know. It's like, to me, it feels like fucking stolen valor. It's a video game, yeah, but at the same time, it feels like stolen valor. You didn't fucking do anything. You didn't earn nothing. And it's like, out of nowhere, they just, like, you just show up. Like, hey, yeah, that was me. That was me. I'm the one. Draw a top hat on a Mona Lisa. I drew that. Mona Lisa's mine. See the top hat? I did it. Like, I fully understand the wanting to make it easier for a new player to get into it, but it's like, you cannot make that fucking argument at all. When you completely invalidate the entire fucking reason of the game, which is to adventure. See what the world is all about. When you are in the middle of an adventure and trying to see what the world's about, and then some mystical fucking gnome out of nowhere is just like, hiddly-doo, hiddly-dee, time for you to fucking flee, and just teleports you out of what you're fucking doing. Poof! You're done. Get out. As you're looking down at the ground, as this fucking bad guy's about to stab this escort mission right in the fucking throat that you're trying to save, like, no, but he has to get back to his family, and whew, you get sucked through a fucking wormhole, and then the gnome's like, hey, don't worry about it, he fucking died anyway. By the way, here's your little party hat, here's your explorer's backpack, go hang out with some dragons. Are you gonna warp me out of this too? Like, does any of this matter? Oh, it's been a long time since I played. Time for me to go see what old Arthas is all about. I'm gonna go beat up the Lich King. You get done with all the fucking quests, and Chromie's like, nope, doesn't matter. He died. By the way, look up at the sky. Poof, it got destroyed. By who? Sylvanas. Who the fuck's Sylvanas? Who the fuck cares? You're gonna be following her like a mustache-twirling villain through the Shadowlands anyway. Why do I care? No fucking wonder the game's fallen off. I like it because I have history and I know why I'm here. I enjoy it. I've been playing since fucking Fall of the Lich King. I have yet to complete a current tier raid ever. I got carried through fucking Nyalotha, I think. Whatever one with the fucking the Void Dragon. I was dead for 90% of it because my guild, I begged them the night before the pre-patch went to carry me through it, and they did. Yeah, this one. That is the only fucking current tier raid I have done in the entirety of my time playing this game. I have never once been able to finish a current content raid outside of LFR. Not once. Whether it's bad luck or I just suck at this game, I don't know at this point anymore, and quite frankly, I just don't give a shit. Because everybody acts like this game is like this it's an achievement. It matters. And it doesn't. It doesn't fucking matter. No one cares. It's a video game. Oh wow, that's some cool shiny digital pixels you got there. That'll help you in a job interview. The point is, though, that the players, for the most part, and the community are too wrapped up in shit that doesn't matter when they should be wrapped up in the fact that there's a lot of this game and there's a lot of people who I think would genuinely enjoy the game if it was easier to actually get into. Like my missus, for example, she has said to me multiple times now, like if she had a computer, she would join in and she would play the game with me. It's like, I absolutely would. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm sure you would guide me along and we would be able to figure something out. She's like, if it was on console, I'd play it. I'm like, give it time. It will. Give it time. They're working on it. They'll figure out a way to have it work for console. Not a big deal. But again, there is no reasonable way I would be able to play this. Like, it is shocking to me. Beyond measure. It is shocking to me how they do not have a team in the background that is strictly working on making a linear progression throughout all of the expansions to have it make sense. Like, maybe you can leave everything exactly how it is, right? Like, you already have the Bronze Dragonflight. You've already done fucking wonders and mental gymnastics beyond measure to fucking wiggle your way into retconning some of the most iconic and awesome moments in the fucking lore just to have them make sense. Oh, it was this fucking nipple guy in hell the whole time. Oh. Why not use that for something that fucking matters? Why not do something that's an act of goodwill, for example? Add an actual story that just really cracks everything down to a simple to understand, easy to digest scenarios. There's a novel concept. Remember the tech you came up with scenarios? I don't know. Maybe set up a scenario for story mode. Where it's like, hey, you're walking with Time Walker Jim Dormu. And he's like, hey, I see that you have just, it's been a while since you've gone through this. Maybe it would be nice for you to brush up on your history. Maybe throw some fucking achievements or some mount collectibles or whatever in it for the people who don't, who have already done it. But all right. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe the Infinite Dragonflight is like, oh, we're going to try and weasel our way through this and make this bad. Go through and why do I care about Old World Azeroth? Let's go through and make a quick, easy to digest, maybe a half hour, 20 minutes of why do I care? Go through and have it, have you be super powerful. You know? They're like, oh, these new hatchlings of the Bronze Dragonflight have heard stories about you, and they would love to see your heroics firsthand. So can you just, can we walk you through some of your most amazing adventures? Which would you like to talk about first? And then you get to fucking pick which expansion you're going through, and then you get to actively go and whoop their asses. You get to go and whoop their ass. You can go through it. You play the scenario, and at the same time, it is a tailored handful of experiences that shows the player what the fuck has actually happened and why you should care. One-on-one against the Lich King. Actually have it be a bit of a challenging fight, maybe. You can have different difficulties of I don't know, bronze, silver, and gold level. Maybe even throw an S tier in there. Ooh. Something for, neckbeards to be able to be like, oh, look at how good I am at this video game. Woo! Sign my yearbook. Well, there's nothing. There's no point, because literally in a few months, the new expansion is going to come out, and this one is going to be the starter expansion now. This is going to be the starter expansion. And no one's going to fucking care. Anybody who starts the game for the very first time is going to be like, hey, how's it going? I'm starting WoW. I'm brand new in the game, whatever, And then it's going to be like, why do I care? What is my purpose? What am I doing? And it's not going to matter. This city is going to be completely fucking dead, devoid of all life. All the quests for crafting orders and all that, gone. No one cares. There's nobody here doing it. Maybe you'll have a couple tryhards still working, you know, for some collectibles or whatever, but for the most part, everybody's going to be in the new expansion doing new things. Like, there's so many layers to the game and so many places that you could be, and there's no reason for any of it to be irrelevant. It should all be relevant. It could be all be relevant, at the very least. And I mean relevant in a way of, like, you actually can go through and actively, because they've already got time walking. That's got to be a real fucking novel concept for anybody who's, like, brand new to the game. Like, oh, do time walking, Burning Crusade. That was an expansion. And then you go through and you do the dungeons. Cool. Maybe during time walking, you go and do the Black Temple raid. Oh, awesome. So you're going to scale me down in a worse way to complete it with people who are just doing this as a fucking gas? Like, why is there not an ability for someone to actually get the real story of what's happening, and they don't have to go to fucking YouTube? I'm sorry. Like, Nobble, you're great. I'm sure there's others. Honestly, Platinum WoW, awesome fucking dude. Nobble, Platinum WoW, I'm drawing a blank for anybody else at the moment, but the point remains, like, yes, they do a phenomenal job explaining why you should hate this person or what the lore is behind this or whatever, but why does it fall to the community to have to do so? I don't feel like it's necessary. It's a complete fucking waste of time. Because you're explaining the story to people who are outwardly, like, looking for the content. We're already fans of the game. I'm gonna go to YouTube. I'm gonna click on your videos. So it's like, yeah. Why the fuck should I? Why is that group of people in the game mad at us? Like, why are we kicking their asses? Like, what's going on with Gen Greymane? You know, like, what's the fucking point of it all? Somebody who's just playing the game as, like, a brand new player is gonna be like, I don't fucking know why I'm here. I want abilities and to kick ass and maybe do a raid with some people that I know. If that. But all in all, I guess as a closing statement, like, I feel like the game could really benefit from actually restructuring the expansion stories in a way that's like, it allows you to actually select a story mode that you can choose to play through. Like, when you're making a character, do you want to have a cohesive story experience or not? And you can change it at any time, right? Like, they will throw you exactly into, like, the level bracket that's necessary for you, because eventually they're going to, if the game still survives, and by the looks of it, it's going to be surviving for a long time. They've got the fucking money for it. Eventually, the game is going to reach a point where they cannot do a stat squish again. They're not going to be able to. There's going to be too much shit and too much content for them to just keep squishing it down. They're going to have to figure something out, because the story is going to move into, like, episodic crazy things, and they're going to have to go back and reevaluate the older zones. Like, to the point where it's like, eventually there's going to have to be a WoW 2.0 where they do a full hard reset on everything. I know a few people in the community have said that, and I genuinely feel like that does need to happen. It really does. Because, like, if even the development team, if even the story writers have reached a point where they do not care about anything that's going on in this game's story at all, if they have already reached a point where it's like, it don't matter. Who cares about Outland? Who cares about Illidan? Yeah, Garrosh, who's Grom Hellscream? I don't give a shit. Like, Which, again, mind you, is a perfect fucking opportunity for them to actually go through and, like, the expansion highlight this week, or this month, is going to be where time, and have it be a fucking month-long thing. Why not? Time walking. The whole time. Whole month. It's going to be focused on Warlords of Draenor. You got the whole month. We're going to have all of the gear from Warlords of Draenor is going to be up on the table. And it'll be normal quality raid gear. Fuck it. Who cares? Normal quality. That's not game breaking. That's not going to fucking destroy anything. You can't upgrade it. You can't nothing. It's a one-off section of gear. That's it. Who fucking cares? Oh no! Somebody used a trinket from their time walking event, and now they're able to kill a boss 5% faster. What difficulty boss was that? It was heroic. Who gives a fuck? Why are we so hellbent? Why is the company so hellbent on keeping people from being able to fully experience the game? You can't play the story mode. There is no story mode. You can't objectively go through and play the game up to level cap in any fucking way you want without them teleporting you to, like, no, you're going to go here and you're going to do it now. Excuse me, I am fucking hot for this. You are going to play the game how we want, in this way, right fucking now. You are going to Dragon Isles, and you're going to fucking play with Scalies in the desert. Okay? And then when you're done with that, we're not going to tell you fucking anything about where you should go with the story. Because you can and will hit level cap well before you are done with the fucking story itself. Even without heirlooms, even without rested experience, you will hit level cap before you finish the fucking story quests in the world zones themselves. If you are a completionist and you finish that, you're never going to finish the fucking story. And immediately they're like, oh, poof. Come save the Emerald Dream. Well, what about Razagath? What about that big, hairy, thundering dragon that's fighting? No, she's dead. Don't worry about it. Come over here. Yeah, but there's a guy over here that's telling me that I need to go and help stop the Primalists. Who gives a fuck about the Primalists? They're on fire now, and they're druids. Come save the Emerald Dream. Okay, what about the elemental dragons that are, like, trying to cut a hole in the ground? Like, what's that all about? No, we already fucking killed him. Come over here to the Emerald Dream. All right, I'm in the Emerald Dream. Okay. So that's it? There's nothing else for me to do. Go plant seeds. Plant seeds, do raid. Okay. How do I get in the raid? LFR. So is it, like, doable then? I don't know. Don't care. Have fun. It's I'm so frustrated with this. I am so fucking frustrated with it because it deserves better. We deserve better than that. Veteran players and new players alike, everybody deserves better than that. Like, cut the fat off of it, man. Like, there's so much bloat. There's so much shit that's not necessary. They actively tell you that what happened in the past doesn't matter. Because they kick you out of older zones to force you into a new one. And then when you get to the new one, you don't immediately show up to the Dragon Isles and you're like, boom, Emerald Dream, get to it. No, you are forced to go through the story in order to get, like, with the addition of Chromie Time, where you can go back and play any expansion at any fucking level and have it work, as long as it's not current content. They're actively telling you that there's no reason for any story to be relevant. because it doesn't matter. It's already happened. It doesn't matter. But then you get to the current content and they're like, how dare you assume that anything matters except for the story? And then when you try to follow along with the story, they've got three of them right now. You've got the initial Razageth, then you've got whatever fucking Arborist or whatever, the underground like throne of bad stuff. And then you've got the Emerald Dream, which is a tree on fire. You've got those 3 plot hooks that the moment you hit level 70 are all irrelevant at the exact same fucking time, and you have to do all of those stories. You don't actually have to do them. You can just run right into the raid and nobody like, I don't know why I'm here. I just saw a big flaming door and I needed 30 people to come in with me, so we did. Now, you've got that, right? But why is it that it is so blatantly obvious that on one half they say the story doesn't matter, but they will pull you out of the story that doesn't matter, proving to you that it doesn't fucking matter, and throwing you into a new story that doesn't matter, but forces you to do a story that doesn't matter, but it does matter. And then when you're just about done with that story, you hit level cap and they're like, yep, by the way, that doesn't matter. Time for you to go to this one. How can you simultaneously care about the story, forcing the player to go down this one-lane fucking road while there's traffic flying at them, and everybody's trying to get him to sign your yearbook? Come over here and help me with this. Who is Caligos? Why does this matter? Go get reputation. What's the Tuskar doing? What that dog doing? Hey, the tree's on fire. What tree? Teldrassil? No, the new one. Ysera's back. Who the fuck is Ysera? I was dead, but now I'm not. Shando Stormrage. I'm going to trade places with you. Who the fuck is that guy? It's a circle jerk for veteran players, but literally the story is completely fucked for veteran players. Who is this and why do I care? There is no quality control whatsoever to have any player, and I mean this, I genuinely fucking mean this, there is no quality control whatsoever that is showing a new player why they should give a fuck. None. Nothing. There is nothing that is showing a player that they should care. And I'm glad Metzen is back. I really am. Because you can tell that when he was part of the fucking mix, that shit mattered. And at the very least, it was good storytelling and not like, all we needed was family. Ugh. Family is the most toxic, broken fucking shit you could ever imagine. If you go to a job and they say, here, we're a family, fucking run. Okay? Like, run. If you join a guild and they're like, we're a family guild, run. Red flags, get out. It is awful. Do not do it. But I'm glad this is at least like some sort of fucking digital media that I can have this rant done, because I don't even need these sticky notes anymore. I've had sticky notes. I've been thinking about this shit for 2 fucking weeks, that I've wanted to be able to actually get this information out and talk about it. And it's frustrated me for so long, because it's like, I actually sat and thought about it, because like I don't think about it as a veteran player to this game. I don't think about it because I understand how WoW works. I understand how it plays. Could you imagine trying to play Final Fantasy XIV for anybody who's actually played it and gone through it like up until like Endwalker or whatever? Could you imagine trying to get through that game and have any of it make sense if they just dropped you midway through fucking Shadowbringers? Like, you start off the game going through and you're like, oh, pray return to the waking sands, and then all of a sudden a fucking Lalafell shows up and they're like, hey, I hope you've had fun in the past, but now you need to come over here, poof, and you're in Shadowbringers like fucking End Patch. Could you fucking imagine that? Seriously, could you fucking imagine that? That's what it's like for a new WoW player. You're just killing fucking bugs outside of Ul'dah, and then out of nowhere, a mystical fucking Lalafell shows up, and they're like, hey, did you have fun? Too bad. Fuck this shit, we're out. Poof, and put you on a spaceship to the fucking moon. I need you to come and talk with this person. Who's the person? Oh, literally the fucking king of everything. I need you to be in my war console. Okay, I've got a sharp stick and I've just been stabbing beetles for 4 hours, so if you need beetles stabbed, I'm your guy. Ugh, Jesus Christ. What time? Fuck. It's after 5. Well, I've had a great time sitting here bitching about shit, but I have used up all the time that I was going to play, because I got stuff to do, but, yeah, it's been real. I hope everybody enjoys this shit, so, see ya. I'll be around sometime, I think. I don't know. Later.